The Newport Tower. Did Vikings build a stone tower in Rhode Island in the 1300s? In Touro Park in Newport, Rhode Island, there is a circular stone tower approximately 9 meters tall and 5 meters in diameter, supported by 8 arches and featuring a round fireplace and niches in the walls. It has stood there for at least several centuries. It is, architecturally, unlike any other colonial structure in New England. And despite its prominent location in one of New England's oldest cities, there is no clear historical record of who built it or when. The colonial theory attributes the tower to Benedict Arnold, not the Revolutionary War traitor but his great-grandfather, a governor of Rhode Island in the 1670s. Governor Arnold's will, written in 1677, refers to my stone-built windmill. This single reference is the primary evidence for the colonial theory. If the tower was a windmill built by Arnold, its architecture and function are unusual for New England windmills of the period, which were typically wooden post mills. No other reference to the structure appears in colonial records before the 1670s. The Norse theory, most prominently promoted by architect Andrew Sinclair and researcher Frederick Pohl, proposes that the tower was built by a Norse expedition to North America in the 14th century, possibly connected to the Kensington runestone and similar claimed Norse artifacts from medieval America. Proponents point to the tower's architectural similarity to round church towers in Scandinavia, particularly those in Bornholm, Denmark. The tower's proportions, they argue, are consistent with Norse measurement systems rather than English ones. The tower's astronomical alignments have been invoked in support of both theories. The window openings in the tower produce specific light effects on the floor at solstice and equinox. The summer solstice sunrise produces a beam of light through a specific window at a specific angle. Such alignments could be deliberate or coincidental. They could reflect the priorities of a Norse settlement establishing a church or navigational marker, or they could reflect the priorities of a colonial governor who was also an amateur astronomer. The alignments are real. What they imply is disputed. Radiocarbon dating was conducted on lime mortar from the tower in 1993 by a team from the University of Copenhagen. The results produced dates ranging from 1440 to 1800 CE, a range broad enough to be consistent with both the pre-Columbian Norse theory, if the tower was built in the mid-15th century, and the colonial theory, if built in the mid-17th century. The radiocarbon dates have been cited by both sides of the debate and have resolved nothing. The Newport Tower debate sits within a broader controversy about pre-Columbian contact between the Old and New Worlds. The discovery of the Elance Aux Meadows site in Newfoundland, definitively a Norse settlement from around 1000 CE, proved that Norse explorers did reach North America. The Vinland sagas describe Norse exploration extending south of Newfoundland. Whether Norse activity extended as far south as Rhode Island, and whether the Newport Tower represents a physical trace of such activity, is the question the archaeological and historical evidence has not yet resolved. Archaeological excavation around the tower's foundations in 1948 produced pottery sherds from the colonial period, but nothing definitively pre-Columbian. However, the excavation was limited in scope and used the methods of its era. Modern ground-penetrating radar surveys and more extensive excavations might produce different results. As of 2025, no comprehensive modern archaeological investigation of the Newport Tower site has been conducted. The Newport Tower stands in Touro Park, open to the public, accessible but off-limits for unsupervised exploration. It has stood for at least 350 years and possibly for 650. Its builder's name does not appear in any record with certainty. Its purpose, mill, church, lighthouse, or navigational tower, is inferred rather than documented. It is one of the most debated structures in American architectural history, and it is also one of the least studied. It waits for the investigation that would settle the question once and for all, and the investigation keeps not happening.